This performance is phenomenal. How did you step into this role again, and what was the challenge of kind of broadening his horizon and changing the direction in a way?
Well, I mean, it was fantastic to play Caesar from an infant through adolescence and then into this young rebel character who's leading the apes to freedom. But I think this iteration of the film, this version, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, was by far a greater challenge in the sense that Caesar's world has become so much more complex. I mean, he's a leader now. He's trying to rule in an egalitarian way and bring this disparate group of gorillas and orangutans and chimps up in this sort of utopian, Edenic kind of society. But he's also trying to impart some of the knowledge that he carries with him from being brought up by human beings. He also is now a father figure. He is a father himself. He has a teenage son. The world is complex in his family, but also then, of course, once the conflict starts, as the humans arrive again, his world is then turned on its head, and he has to find a way of stopping the conflict from escalating. And so there are many challenges. He has a very rich, complex journey in this film, which was great to get a chance to play.
Well, you've gotten to a point where you have mastered this technique, which is before you were one of the first. Has it gotten easier? Has it changed through?
The technology has it's become more transparent. It's become the great move forward is being able to shoot performance capture on set at the same time as acting up against your fellow actors, rather than having to like in Lord of the Rings. You know, I was filmed on set, but then I had to go back and repeat the performance capture process later on. So there's the total connectivity now, and that's a really huge, significant thing. Plus, we're able to shoot outside on location, and in fact, 99% of the movie was shot outside in forests and rainforests in Vancouver, and then in New Orleans. The ape community was built in New Orleans in the middle of summer, 100 degrees humidity, 100% humidity. So it was pretty brutal, but actually, it all adds to the reality of it.
This is an Oscar-worthy performance. I'm sorry, I'm saying this is an Oscar-worthy performance, absolutely. How far are we from seeing that recognized?
I don't know. I mean, there's all sorts of, you know, really, people have asked me this question: do you think there should be a special category for performance capture acting? To which I say no. I don't think there should. I think that, you know, acting is acting, and when an actor plays a role, it's whether he touches the audience, moves the audience. The fact of the matter is that these performances are authored on the set in a very similar way to a live-action movie. You're working with a director and your fellow actors, and you recreate that. The way it's manifested on the screen, obviously, is through the incredible artistry of the visual effects company, in this case Weta, who do an incredible job. I mean, their work is second to none. It's brilliant, world class. But the performance, the actual, everything that's emotional and connective about these performances of myself and all the other eight, you know, it's acting. And so I think the perception needs to be understood that that's what it is.
Do you think that Matt understands that as a filmmaker?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he completely, you know, he understands it so fully, and knew that the only route to making this movie, to finding the level of nuanced performances that he wanted, was to use performance capture technology.
Yeah, and do you think about where this guy's going? Do you see in the future where you would like to go with Caesar, the character? Yeah.
It's very interesting because, you know, where Matt chose to start this movie and still see the apes evolving, not having arrived there, not yet having got to a point where they're fully articulate with human language and so on, was a really smart move. I think it engages the audience in a fundamental way. I mean, we know we're eventually going to end up in 1968 Planet of the Apes, you know, where the apes have inherited the Earth, but it could take one movie, it could take 2 or 3 or 4. It depends how much further we want to explore them.